Hi, and welcome to A Co-opers Nation. Today is our very first class here at Whole Foods Co-op in Duluth, Minnesota. We're right down the street from Lake Superior. Gorgeous sunrises, gorgeous sunsets. But along with that, we have a co-op right in the heart of Duluth. And today, we're going to talk about some key points that make a co-op a very important thing to have in your community. And you might ask, well, what do you mean by that? Well, what a co-op does is they make sure that they're bringing you the freshest local produce that they can. Now, sometimes it's not local, but they still make sure that they're getting the best quality. And what's most important by that is with the local produce, they're helping a local farm. They're helping a local family, and they're supporting them. So that produce comes in and then will be sold to people that live in our area, in our community, up here touring, and it gives jobs to people that live here. And it helps those folks. And then we have other businesses that come in and they purchase that product, they take it back to their business or their kitchen, they turn it into something else, sell it back to the co-op, it is then sold to you to take home and share with your friends and family. This is only scratching the surface of how a co-op affects the neighborhood. We have yet to even talk about the Roundup programs or the other outreach programs that are in place for another time altogether. But for today, what we are going to do is we're going to be making a recipe. You should have gotten the recipe in your link for this class. And we're going to run upstairs and meet with one of the folks in produce who is going to not only show us the best produce to get for the recipe we're making, but also show us some of the Valentine's treats, flowers and florals that are available for you to purchase, either in the store or online. But what's most important is we are going to be making a one-of-a-kind, very special Valentine's Day dinner, and it's going to be on a budget, so you don't have to worry about breaking the bank. So if you got someone special that you want to make a dinner for, or maybe you don't, maybe you're that someone special, don't poo-poo Valentine's Day. Enjoy it. Make it something very special for you or very special for someone else. But it's all about love, and that's what we're going to do. So thank you for joining us here at Co-opers Nation. We're going to meet you once we get upstairs. We're here at Whole Foods Co-op. I'm lucky enough that I get to spend some time with my friend Scott, who works here at the Whole Foods Co-op. Scott, can you tell us what you do here?
I'm the assistant produce manager here at the Hillside store. So I oversee our local produce program, our transplant program in the summer, and our floral program year-round.
You have a lot of great florals, and since we're coming up on Valentine's Day, it's very important. Maybe you can tell us how important it is to have fresh flowers in the store, and not just Valentine's Day, but I'm sure all year round.
Well, year-round we have a variety of floral offerings and plant offerings available. We always have fresh bouquets and arrangements. And for Valentine's, we're lucky enough to get some beautiful spring flowers like daffodils, tulips, and hyacinth. We also have cut tulip bouquets available, currently coming imported from the Netherlands. And we should have local tulips in time for Valentine's Day.
Bringing up local, can you tell us some of the local florists that you get your products from?
Our primary local florists are Duluth Flower Farm and Jane's Garden. Both are amazing vendors who produce top quality product, unmatched by anything that we see in our imports, although the imports do carry us through the rest of the year.
That's excellent. So the local ones have to travel so much fewer miles than those other ones do.
Some of them are picked same day.
Some of them are picked same day. And you can get them right here at Whole Foods Co-op. Now, with all of these hospitals and everything nearby, and this has to be a great place to come if you need a last minute, like a gift shop present. You know, you're going to visit one of your friends. Do you guys have stuff on hand pretty much all throughout the year where I could come in and maybe grab a vase bouquet or a basket bouquet that you have?
Absolutely. One of our aims with our floral program is affordability and accessibility. We want something that you can pick up off the shelf and walk out of here and take home same day without thinking twice about it, and you and your loved ones can enjoy it.
That's excellent, because what I do hear is I hear that children born within 72 hours of Valentine's Day are usually geniuses. So if you got any of those around, be sure you stop and pick up some flowers for them. Now, are there anyone, if you were to choose what you were going to have given to you on Valentine's Day, which one would it be?
Well, even though it is part of my job here, I have terrible luck with houseplants. I do not have a green thumb in that sense. I do love the local tulip bouquets and some of the specialty arrangements we have.
All right. These right here?
Yep, those are the imports from the Netherlands.
These are from the Netherlands?
Yep. So they do travel a ways to get here, but they are fresh. They're a beautiful taste of spring in these cold winter months, and they're available starting as early as January 1st some years.
That's excellent. Will you get the variety of colors in?
Always.
Okay. Well, very cool. Scott, since we got you here, I was wondering if you could help us. We're going to be making a recipe downstairs. We're going to be making a pizza for a Valentine's Day date night. And I brought with me our ingredient list. And I'm going to be needing some produce. And I'm hoping you could share your expertise with us and help us pick the proper produce for the pizza. Proper produce pizza. Yes. Could you do that?
Absolutely. Let's take a walk through the department.
All right, let's go. All right, Scott, can you tell us what we need off our list to make the best pizza?
Well, we have organic jalapenos, currently coming from Mexico. We also have a wide variety of mushrooms for you to choose from, most of which are grown in Wisconsin. Some come from Pennsylvania, but they are all certified organic and U.S. grown.
Okay, so we have jalapenos from Mexico, and then the mushrooms come from either Wisconsin or Pennsylvania. And you said those are organically certified?
Yes, all of the bulk mushrooms are certified organic.
I see that you have a couple of different kinds of mushrooms up here, not only as far as like, was it the species of mushrooms between like the white buttons, the crimini, and the shiitake? Would that be considered their species?
Yeah, or variety.
Variety, all right. But then we also have packaged versus not packaged. Can you explain a little bit of the difference and benefits of those?
Well, the packaged options are a convenient size that people are familiar with, and the bulk options allow you to purchase as much or as little as you want, and you do get a little bit of a price break because of the lack of packaging.
And you're saving the environment by not having all of the packaging.
Absolutely.
Also, since we're only making a couple of pizzas, we don't need to get a half a pound of mushrooms. We can actually only get like 4 or 5 mushroom caps to chop up and not have any waste. That's a great option to give the customers here at the co-op. We're going down our list. We have the jalapenos, the mushrooms. We're now going to go, as green peppers look like they're right around the corner here.
Let's go.
All right, let's take a look at the options we have for peppers. Now I see we have red, orange, yellow, and green. What would your choice be on a pizza?
Generally, you're going to go for the red pepper or the green pepper, depending on the other ingredients you have.
Okay.
Both of those are grown in Mexico at the moment.
But I do see you have a great variety of red, orange, yellow, and green peppers. Any of these you think will work fine, but definitely stick with the red or green?
Yeah, any of them would work on a pizza, but the red or green are going to give you the flavor profile you're looking for.
And they have a nice crisp firmness to them?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Is it okay if I hold one up?
Yep.
And these are from Mexico?
Correct.
These are great looking organic peppers. It's going to be an awesome pizza. This almost looks like the pizza heaven section. Can you tell us what you got in here that's going to go great on our pizza?
Well, we have yellow onions that are grown right here in Minnesota.
Minnesotan onions at this time of year?
They are a wonderful storage crop. It's one of the few that's left during the winter months.
Okay.
We also have white onions and red onions coming out of California. Bagged yellow onions if you need to make quite a few pizzas. That's a 3-pound option.
And where are the bagged ones from?
Those are also from California.
Okay.
We have garlic coming from California right now. We have local basil from Superior, Wisconsin. And we also have a larger package of basil available from northwestern Iowa.
Okay, so our options for basil are Iowa or
Across the bay.
right across the bay. All right. So that only takes a bridge ride to get over here.
Absolutely. It's picked and delivered the same day.
Okay, and now if I were going to get tomatoes on my pizza, what option would you say is the best? The Roma, the slicers, the vine on?
I would probably recommend the Roma tomato, which is coming out of Mexico. Or we do have some packaged options for cherry tomatoes that are very good as well. Those are greenhouse grown in Mexico.
Okay, those would actually be great on the pizza because you just need to probably slice or quarter them.
Absolutely, and they've got great flavor for this time of year.
All right, Scott, that looks like everything on our list in the produce department. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. When we get that pizza done, why don't you come on down and give it a try?
Absolutely.
All right. And you can find all of these ingredients that we're going to be using to make these pizzas right here at the Whole Foods Co-op. And we're back. And as you can tell, I'm going to have more costume changes than Cher at our first farewell tour. Not to worry. What we are going to be making today for our very special Valentine's Day dinner is 2 kinds of pizza. We're going to be making Chicago style deep dish, and we're going to be making more of a hand toss style. This one is going to be traditional with cow's milk, cheese, and meat. This is going to be a vegan pizza. Why vegan, you say? Well, because you know that lady or that fella that you have over for Valentine's Day, they might be vegan. So you got to make sure that you have a vegan option ready. And with the ingredients we're going to be using, it's as easy as pie. Pizza pie, that is. From our deli, we're going to be using the ready-to-use pizza dough. What I would recommend is you take this out of the fridge about 30 minutes before you want to use it. Get it as close to room temperature as possible, but you don't want it to start rising. Also from the deli, we have the string cheese. We have the mozzarella, the prepackaged pizza sauce, and the prepackaged pepperoni. From the bulk section, pizza seasoning, vegan bacons, flour, and olive oil. Coolest part about the bulk section is I don't have to get $10 worth of this. I can get like $1.50's worth and still probably have a little left over. From the freezer section, we have Beyond Beef crumbles. Because the vegan pizza we're going to be making, this is going to sound strange, we're going to be making a bacon cheeseburger pizza, and it's going to be vegan. We'll be using the cheddar Daya style cheese shredded for that. We also are going to be using some black olives. And here's that lovely produce that we talked about. Tomatoes, garlic, onion, jalapeno, green bell pepper, mushrooms, and basil. We're going to get all set up over at the cutting station, and we'll see you then. All right, we're here at the chopping station. I'm wearing gloves because, yes, I wash my hands thoroughly. I highly recommend you do the exact same. But in this winter weather, with all the nicks and cracks and everything, I would rather wear the gloves to make sure the food is sanitary as possible. So we're going to start out by getting some things chopped up. I like to start with the mushrooms. So we're going to start with those, and what I would highly recommend, since we're doing this as a date night and someone's going to be coming over and joining us to make the pizzas, is I would invest in something like this. We have about a dozen of these. They're all exactly the same size, and what's really nice is I can lay them out with all the ingredients in, so when that special someone comes over, we can just have all the pieces laid out, and both of us jump in and have a really good time doing it. Yes, the chopping can be fun, but it can also be the mess and the hassle that a lot of people like to shy away from. Now, when it comes to the chopping, bear claws. This isn't going to be a class about how to chop things up, but you know, for certain reasons, try to keep all the pieces uniform and try to keep them the same size. And it's not so much that aesthetically it's going to look, oh, the pieces aren't the same size. It's more so that they're going to cook evenly. And as you can see, this doesn't take too long. Now what I could have done, what am I going to do with this garbage? Right now I'm just going to set it here. What I could have done is I could have had another bowl set out, a little trash bowl if you will, and that way it'll keep all my bits and pieces separated on how I want them. And remember how we talked about the bulk section? Look at this. This was it 5 mushrooms? This is going to be more than enough for the 2 pizzas that we're making. So then, take our cups. These were all washed and sterilized for anyone wondering. Highly recommend you use, with everything going around in the world, use that sterilize option on your dishwasher, if you have a dishwasher. There we go. Gonna jump to the jalapeno. And I believe Scott said these were from Mexico. So they had to travel up the old 35 dub to get here. You can leave the seeds in there if you want. You don't have to. The seeds do tend to make it a little bit hotter. You can just scrape them out with your thumb, pull them out with your finger, grab a spoon, however you like. If you're not too knife savvy, or you are, you can flatten this, slide it and flay it like a fish. Again, let's not make it overcomplicated. Keep it simple. And keep it fun. That's also the most important thing. If you're not having fun doing it, why do it? There we are with this. Does anyone have any Valentine's Day traditions that they'd like to share? You can comment us, let us know. There we are. Yeah, Valentine's Day might be a little bit weird this year too, with the Super Bowl falling the day before. At least it didn't fall on Valentine's Day. We're going to jump to the green pepper. Now this, we might just cut to a montage. I don't think you guys need to sit and watch me doing this for, well, you can. Hey, maybe you enjoy it. And you might be saying, hey, there's going to be leftover ingredients. What do I do with those leftover ingredients? Well, one idea that you could do is get your pizzas dressed, and then whoever your very special date is, say, hey, why don't we make an egg bake for breakfast? Okay. You know what that means. You'd have an egg bake for breakfast. So, now these, again, same thing. You can chop them in big chunks, little chunks, doesn't matter. What really matters is that you're getting as uniform as possible. I do like me a pepper in uniform. There we are. And if I screw up and they're not exactly uniform, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Normally I would have music cooking while I do this, but that whole copyright infringement and such. Now that's all the green pepper we're going to need. Don't worry, this is not going to go to waste, but I don't want to take up any more of your time than I need to. The tomatoes. I like tomatoes on my pizza. Maybe you don't, and that's okay. Maybe there's things that you like on your pizza that you don't see here. Go get them. Do you want anchovies? Great, grab them. Don't know how that's going to go over on Valentine's Day. That's up to you. You could say the same about the garlic, though, I suppose. Now, with the tomatoes, because of their size, you can either half them, quarter them. I would not recommend leaving them whole, because then what they make when you go to bite into them is they make really hot little tomato juice bombs that when you bite into they can spray out and squirt. You don't want to have that. You either want to go whoosh, nice little half, or otherwise you can quarter them just like that. I'm going to half these because it takes half the time, and we'll move on to the next step. Look at that, those are ready to go. Now let's do the onion. Just get it over with, man. Do onions make you cry? They usually don't make me cry, but for some reason with the lights on and the cameras on, I think it's gonna be a little warm. Been dreading this moment. I really haven't. It's not that big a deal. Peel it. There's a little green in here. I don't like that. Pull that out. This guy was reaching for the fences. Look at that. We got another one here. No big deal. Take it out. Not the end of the world. It's not worth stressing over, man. And really, there's very little worth stressing over, isn't there? Making a pizza, not worth stressing over. Boom, boom, boom. Again, this isn't about knife skills. Unless we're talking safety knife skills, then yes, be very safe. Don't try to be all Gordon Ramsay and slicing things as fast as you possibly can. You lose a fingertip. You just ruined Valentine's Day. Way to go, man. No, it's okay. Just be safe. And there we have it. You can break them up a little bit. Maybe there's some chunks in there that are bigger. You want to cut those again. That's fine. Grab your cup. Can't have that in there. And again, it looks like we're going to have some leftovers that we can use for breakfast or something else. This is a very nice countertop, but it's low. It's low from the window to the wall. It's low. Crack this open. Garlic is one of those where it's like, did you use too much? Did you use too little? I don't know. We're doing 2 pizzas, so let's say 3 cloves per pizza. Ooh, got them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you have a garlic press, you can do the old, and that'll work just fine. I don't have one of those, so I'm not going to use one of those. I'm going to crack this open, peel it, and you can. The Co-op does sell pre-peeled garlic. You'll find that in the produce section. It's a bit more expensive. Sure does save a lot of time. And the nice thing, another nice thing about wearing gloves, this isn't getting all up underneath my fingernails. I'm gonna have a real easy time washing my hands and then not smelling the garlic later. Oh, I got 4 there, need 2 more. I like to just nip off that little side or the little end, and the rest of it comes off pretty easily. That, and we're just gonna wipe this off a little bit. Messes all off the cutting board, no problem. I like to lay it flat, smoosh. Make sure you can lay it as flat as possible though, just so it doesn't slide out. And you always want to use a sharp knife. Dull knives cause more accidents than sharp ones do. I know it seems counterintuitive, but you use so much more force when you're using a dull knife that you slip and you cut yourself. Okay. A lot of you are like, oh, you're just cutting it up so messy. Yeah, I am. And that's okay. We're going to go over it a few times. And also, that being said, if your Valentine, they come over and they start critiquing how you chopped your garlic, yeah, and you might want to start over. Not with the garlic. Okay. Got that chopped up nice. I should have saved this for last. It's going to be a little sticky, icky, you know. There we go. Slide that on in. Now, the basil. There's a couple of different schools of thought on the basil. One, just put the leaves directly on the pizza. Maybe if you were going to do a goat cheese or some big nice mozzarella circles. Or 2, chop it up. We are going to go with chop it up because we want it to be small little bites that are going to go in. And how I like to do it, you could do it however you like. Grab the big leaves, roll up the little leaves in the big leaves, come at it like that. Nice little basil roll up. You just put a couple of lengthwise chops in there. I'm 1 cup short. Whatever shall we do? We're just going to throw it right back in here. Next step, clean up. Clean up, clean up. Everybody, everywhere, clean up, clean up. And then we're going to get this ready for rolling out the dough. We'll see you in a minute. All right, it is time to roll some dough. What we're going to need some flour, we're going to need a rolling pin, and we're going to start with one of our doughs. Now you might say, hey, I don't have a rolling pin. That's okay, don't worry about it. You got a wine bottle that you can clean? Use that. Don't have a wine bottle? Do you have any glass cylinder that you might have that you can use? Maybe a vinegar bottle, something along those lines. But find something, and if you don't have anything, you can always use your fingers and just keep pressing and make circles all the way out. But we have a rolling pin, so we're going to use that. Make sure your countertop is clean, sanitized, and dry. If it's wet, it's going to pull up the moisture and make little mud puddles. With the flour, that is. So lay some flour down. This is going to be a little bit tight because there's the layers, the levels. We're going to make it work. There we have it. Now, let's just keep it real simple. We are not going to be hand stretching this. Like I said, we're going to be rolling it. You can, if you want to throw it up in the air, you can do that. We're going to be using our rolling pin, which has also been cleaned and sanitized and is ready to roll. Ready to roll. But it looks like it needs a little bit of flour. Pull out. Pull out. We are shooting for, see this size? This is the size of our cast iron. We want it about 1 inch to 1.25 inches wider than the top. So you're going to keep gently rolling it out. And you see that spring back? You got to be aware of that because you might be like, hey, that's all I need. I got it to where I need it. And then as soon as you start doing this number, the whole thing shrinks. Now, you don't want to overwork the pizza dough, but one nice thing about this dough is it's pretty forgiving. You can mess it up a little bit, squish it back together, it'll be fine. So again, start in the middle, roll it out. Start in the middle. And again, we're going to have a little issues with the ledges here. But it looks like we're getting there. The deep dish we're going to do something a little extra fun with. So we're going to need it a little extra big. It's huge, right? Let's see, now we got that shrink going on when it releases from the countertop. But we planned for that. so it's nothing to worry about. I think we're just about there. We're going to go just a little bigger. Nice coverage in there. All right, start in the center. There are a couple of different style of rolling pins. This is my favorite. There's ones that are complete cylinders where you just, those are nice. A lot of people like those. Again, not my preference. What's your preference? Which one do you like to use? Okay. We're gonna let that sit for a second. Gonna grab our pan. Now, I'm gonna take the olive oil. When you think you got enough dumped in there, add a little bit more. It's going to really brown up the bottom of that crust. Do a nice swirl. Coat the whole thing. You also want to get it up on the sidewalls, because that is where the dough is going to be going. Okay. Now we got to get this in here. Don't worry about it. It's going to be easy. And if you screw it up, it's okay. It's going to be okay. Try to get it as even as possible. Ooh, got some hangover here. Would have been really nice if I would have had a board set on the stove. I didn't do that. Okay. Now you may be like, hey man, why you got it looking like a pan of kuchen? There's a lot of dough there. There is. And we're going to tuck in all the edges, just like that, all the way around. Move over here to this camera. So you can see the contour of the pan, right? Okay. Now, this one right here, we are going to put into a safe place where it's warm. I don't want to say like a proofing box. What I'm going to do is I turn the oven on to 180. I shut it off and I let it come back down so it's just a little bit over room temperature. I'm going to set it in there while we do the other one. It's going to give it a chance to rise up a little bit, and then we will get it dressed. So basically on date night, you have this ready to go, and whatever time they're coming over, right around 45 minutes beforehand, get this put someplace so it can do that. Be right back with the next one. All right, we're back. And like I said, that first one's gonna sit. I don't know if you noticed earlier, but when this came out, it started to, it's already starting to pop up a little bit. So we wanna stop that from happening. Otherwise we'll have a big dough monster in our fridge. And I'm gonna show you a couple of different things you can do with this one. What I like to do is this one we're going to do a little backwards. We're going to flip it over. So it's the sticky side here. We're going to grab our pizza seasoning. Now, I don't want to say that vegan food has less flavor, because that's not always true. It's not, we'll just say it's not true. But it can tend sometimes to have folks that are non-vegan or meat eaters taste it and be like, there's not any flavor to it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of flavor in the lines of pizza seasoning, which you can find in the bulk section. Now, we're going to not work the dough too much, but we're going to work that into the dough a little bit. You could keep mushing it all up and start all over. It's not what we want to do. We want to spread it out so you can see the herbs and everything in it. Then a little coat of flour. This smell in here right now is Pizza Hut circa 1985. It's good. With this one, we don't have to be quite as strenuous because We just need to get it to fit in there. Okay. By Jove. I think I've got it. Olive oil. Now this one you don't have to do quite as much. You can, if you want to. You know what? Look at, not even measuring. Living on a prayer. And we're gonna mix it up. Now it all depends how you like your crust. This will give it more of a crispy baked bottom, or you could use a breathable pizza plate or pizza stone or something like that. There's so many different options. I personally like mine like this. You can tell I know how to eat. So get this up, get it here. Same thing. Don't worry if you screw it up. You're not going to screw it up. You're going to do it just right. However you do it is the right way to do it. Now you have some options. So we got this all pressed into place. You can give it a little extra smoosh to get it where it needs to be. Now we're going to make a vegan pizza with this. And it's going to be good. But what you could do, and I'm going to do one just to show you, is you could make breadsticks with this. You're like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no, I'm not kidding you. You could make breadsticks with the dough you got at the co-op to make pizza. Let me grab my knife. You would just make whoop, 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 all the way down. Should we do, what should we do? Two? Should we do two breadsticks? Now normally I have a pastry cutter, but I forgot to bring that. So I'm going to use the knife very carefully and go through just the dough and set that aside. Now I have just a little bit of olive oil left. Going to drizzle that on top, or take your finger, dip it in here. Now you don't want to do, you can do this on the crust. I would not recommend it because we're going to be putting the toppings on there. This one you're going to want to get nice and golden. Then we can sprinkle just a little bit more of the seasoning on there. I'm going to go put this in the oven with the other one. Now again, that oven is not turned on. We're just using that as a full proofing box. I'm going to get cleaned up, but while I get cleaned up, you guys are going to go on a little bit of a field trip and go hang out with my friend Nicole Wild over at Love Creamery in Canal Park. I hope you have a good time, and we're going to see you back here in a little bit. Okay, co-opers, we are here with Nicole Wild of Love Creamery, and we are at your second location, I believe.
Yes, our
This
second
is
location.
The Canal Park location, and your other location is where?
It's in Lincoln Park. We're in the Craft District, over by Bent Paddle and OMC restaurant.
How long has Love Creamery been in business?
I actually started making ice cream, I believe, in 2009, and then I took an ice cream. Penn State has a ice cream. It's more of a commercial ice cream making course. I didn't know it at the time, but I did that in I think 2010 or 2011, and I sold my first ice cream in 2014 out of a little cart, and did that for a few years, and then opened the first store in Lincoln Park in 2018.
Congratulations.
Thank
That
you.
is quite a journey.
Yes.
And especially to get into Canal Park, which a very vibrant tourist area.
Correct.
And also, you guys sell your product at some of the local stores in town, is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. We have been partnering with, actually Duluth Coffee was the first, Eric with Duluth Faust with Duluth Coffee was the first business that took me on when I was first starting out. I was so grateful for him. Really let me try the wholesale and learn how to package and market a product in a retail setting. And then we're at several breweries, other tourist attractions, and of course, we have our pints at the Whole Foods Co-op.
Which you can find in the freezer section. One amazing thing that I find about Love Creamery is I'm someone who's allergic to dairy, and you guys fill that niche of having a vegan ice cream.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be?
Sure did. Well, back when I started, I actually hired a woman named Claire who is a chef, and one of her first charges was to help me formulate a vegan ice cream. I had actually tried to attempt it, and I was really struggling with it. I was making some, but it was just too icy, or it just, there's all these just weird fats, and they would glob up, and chemistry-wise. And Claire actually sent her to a company that makes vegan ice cream, and she trained on some basic recipes, and that at least gave us a start, a really, really good launch pad to further kind of go in the food science of making vegan ice cream. So we have been literally making those since before we opened in 2018, and we are still, every winter, that's what we do. We go back to R&D, and we're reworking our recipes, and our bases, we have many. You need fat, unless you want to put a lot of those stabilizers in there, which we have some, but not much. But we use a lot of the nut milks. Sun butter is a great one to use. Coconut, of course.
Right.
And, but we use tahini, this was sesame seeds, we use the traditionals, the cashews and the almonds and macadamia. And we have ventured into oat. Claire actually started off with some oat ones. It's kind of crumbly. There's not a lot of fat in oat milk. You have to put a lot of stabilizers in there. So we haven't really gone down that road, but perhaps that's something we're working on.
Right on, that's exciting.
Yep.
Friday, February 4th.
February 4th. We're back open here. We will only be open now Wednesday through Sunday. We're going to close on Mondays and Tuesdays here, just so we can do some training and continue some of our R&D. Our Lincoln Park store is open every day of the week. So this is Ann Brennan. She's a local artist, very young. She's somebody that has done some graphic work for me. She's an artist, really. She's an illustrator. So she designed this mural. We had it converted by JS Print Group, a local printer in town, who made it into wallpaper to put up. So we've been doing that here the past month, among some other things that we've been working on. So
very cool. And this is where the magic happens, as they say?
This is the magic. You can see it's shut off right now. Again, we'll be filling this up on Thursday in anticipation of opening up on Friday. But this is where we scoop, and we have floats, we make malts and shakes.
I see a waffle maker back there.
Yep. So that's one of the things we've been doing too, is every year we've been reworking our waffle cone recipe. We have a vegan gluten-free waffle cone. It's very good. People love it, but we're working on making it better. We make those fresh here every day when we are open. And pretty much everything we make, except some of the stuff we get from Positively 3rd Street Bakery. That's who we collaborate with from a baking end. And then there's some products, especially for our vegan, gluten-free products that we just buy right now. We don't have a bakery at this time, so we can't make everything. But for the most part, we're making our things like our sauces and whipped creams and etc.
And also, Positively 3rd Street Bakery is another vendor that you can find at Whole Foods Co-op.
Yes, absolutely.
And it just kind of shows how the inner networking of a community can really help each other grow in a positive manner.
Yeah. I would say that's one of the core principles of ours, is that local piece. It just makes sense because we're just putting money right back into the community, right? When we're buying cookies, we're helping, increase sales for Positively 3rd Street. They're able to, bring in more employees, maybe develop more products. We have collaborated with them. But the same thing with, the coffees and Duluth Coffee Company. And we do partner with a lot of the little farms. So no farm actually can supply everything we need. No. So we use a lot of, and we kind of just if we need raspberries, we might have 4 farms that have some excess that they will sell us to make our raspberry sorbet. We do have espresso. This is not our core thing here, but one of my favorite things early on from traveling and in Europe, basically in Italy, was the affogato, which is the espresso over ice cream. It's super cream and sugar in espresso. Really good. So I wanted to make sure we brought that to our menu plate, and which is great now because it's kind of caught on in town. People are asking for ice cream now at cafes to make affogatos. So that's really fun. So we have that. Of course, I showed you our serving area, but we'll come back to show you where things are made. Again, it's a mess because we are in the middle of getting ready to open, so you're going to see a lot of empty things and things plopped around. It's ice cream, right?
Right.
So I will say it's not the best product in terms of shelf life. Let's just say it that way, right? Every time you make ice cream, you have to have a freezer to put it in. So either it's got to be here, or it's got to be at our other place, or it's got to be off-site. And anytime we transport it, we have to keep it frozen. And then we got to make sure wherever we deliver it has a freezer to keep it frozen. So we also don't use preservatives, those stabilizers, which means is, one, our ice cream will melt faster. It's a product of that it doesn't have these stabilizers that hold the water with the fat.
So you don't make the astronaut ice cream that can sit out in the sun for 2 days?
Well, we want to make that, and that's another story, okay? Because people go to the Boundary Waters, right? We want to send them with it, right?
Yeah.
So we have plans. But anyways, so this is where we temper stuff off in here. So this is set a little bit warmer before we put it out there, because you'll see we keep our ice cream really cold. We just, we roast nuts here. Well, we do make some cookies. There's some things that we do make in-house. And then, this is our mixer. This is where we make our waffle cone batter here. This is our ice cream maker. It's an Emery Thompson. Typically, ice cream companies that are making it batch. A batch meaning you put a batch in here. These are called dasher blades. So the ice cream is going to freeze along the barrel, and then this blade is going to turn at whatever speed we set it. Based on the ice cream, it'll vary, and it scrapes off that ice cream. Those are the ice crystals. Okay. So after it goes around and around and scraping, you get what's like a soft serve, a thicker soft serve. You're gonna pour that out. It's for us. We will set it up here. We might add some companies will pour. We call them inclusions. So a nut would be an inclusion. A cookie would be an inclusion. A lot of companies throw this in here. Because of all our allergen protocols, we keep that stuff out and we hand mix it in here, so we aren't putting, we're not contaminating
Very cool.
this as much as if we always were putting things in. But, and we have a couple ice cream makers, so we dedicate some to certain products. But anyways, so that's here. We've got our, we're pulling stuff out and putting it into these big containers, these tubs, ice cream tubs, and
If I may ask, how much is one batch of ice cream? So if you were going to, today you were going to make a batch of, let's say chocolate.
Yeah, so our overrun is air you put into ice cream. So, air is profits, right? So if you are making, let's say 12 quarts, let's say I have 12 quarts of mix. This is our waffle cones we're making here. 12 quarts of mix. And I made 24 quarts of ice cream. You'd have, I think that's 100% overrun. Okay. So you're putting 100% air. We don't do that. We don't want to put air in our ice cream. We want it to be thick and creamy. So we might put 12 quarts in and we might get like 16 quarts out.
Okay, so it is small batch.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's the most we can put in here.
Okay.
Like for sure, or it start to come out the top.
Right on.
Right? So, anyway, so yes, very small batch. So it's daily. We're making this daily. People don't understand, and we age our ice cream batches. So if we make a mix and we put spices in here, we're gonna put it in the walk-in and age it for 6 to 24 hours, depending on the flavor, to infuse it like a tea. We're doing stuff like that. So we don't just when people's like, oh, can you make this flavor for us with pints? It's like, but we can't. It'll take us 3 days to do it because we have to make the base. Then we have to make you have to pasteurize. A lot of times we have to repasteurize our base. Then cool it, infuse it, strain it, put it in here. And then when it comes out of here, it's not done. It's like soft serve. We serve a hard ice cream, right?
Right.
So then we're putting it in here. Right? This is called a blast freezer. Again, we aren't making ice cream right now. Usually it's 40 below. It's just going through a defrost right now. So we make it really cold, and that's where it hardens off.
Right.
And you could never scoop it. It'd be hard as a rock. Like you would take a scooper and go like this, and it'd be like bing, 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 bing. That's why we temper it off. I have visited ice cream shops where literally there'll be a wall here, and that side they're serving people, and this side they have this real narrow space, no wider than this, and they're just and their blast freezer will be right there.
Yeah, this is a surprisingly large space.
Yeah, it is. People come in like, it's teeny. I'm like, no, you should see what I've seen in my tours. Because I have visited so many ice cream places, mostly on the east and west coast, because people are they don't want to share. You know, they've got their secrets, and I get it now. I do get it. But for me, for us, it's more about our recipes than anything. The processes are all the same, right? Different types of machines. You can get continuous freezers. Of course, there's soft serve. And there's different, ingredients that you can use. But for us, we just use the basic traditional milk, cream, egg, sugar, and then add other stuff to it. And then we're 18% butterfat, so we're super, super creamy, and sometimes it's 19 depending on what's going on with the cows. We call the girls.
We just got a wonderful tour, and we learned about the artisan nature of your ice creams that you make. And I got a sneak peek behind the scenes and some of the products. Can you tell us just like what's your favorite thing about having a business in the Twin Ports?
Oh gosh, my favorite thing? I don't know. Okay, business aside, running a business, it's been a journey and it's been very interesting. I definitely am very proud of what we've created here, and my staff are part of that creation for sure. I could not have done it without my staff. This particular business, what's really fun is really trying to work with various community businesses to integrate whatever they're making in our products and creating something really good. And then at the end of the day, it's just like the people, when we give them the ice cream and they say it's great, or they love it, or they love the experience, that's really, at the end of the day, what is my favorite part. I don't think if people were coming in here and they were just grumpy all the time, and we give them our products and they're like, I get this someplace else, I don't think I'd be in business today.
Yeah.
Because what would be the point, right? So I think like even all the collaborations, even if that wasn't happening, if we didn't have happy customers, it really wouldn't be gratifying. So I think those are my favorite things. As far as the Twin Ports, I just love it up here. I mean, this area I've lived lots of places, and I like the outdoors. I love the lake, and the people here are just awesome. So.
Right on. And you can find Love Creamery in Lincoln Park, and the hours of that store are?
Right now our hours are noon until 8 on weekdays, until 9 on weekends. And here it's going to be Wednesday through Sunday, and on weekdays it's 1 until 8 and then 1 until 9 on weekends.
Now, I heard a rumor that you guys also do weddings. Is that still true?
Yes, we do. We do cater weddings. We have this little cute cart that we'll set up. We do only do it within like a 25-mile radius of Duluth. But yes, we do a full-on catering. So we bring staff. We have flavors, custom flavors. We usually go in the morning, set up before all this setup takes place, come and serve, and then break down the next day or that night, whatever the venue is. So it's a full-service catering, and guests love it because we serve all you can eat. So it's just people come, we serve our, a few hours, and people just come back, and the kids come back. It's a really fun thing to have.
That sounds great. Well, thank you very much for your time. And once again, if you could just remind us who the artist was who did the mural.
So this is a local Duluthian. Her name is Anne Brennan. Anne Brennan Designs, and she does amazing illustrations. This is just one kind of style she does, but she does animations and lots of other stuff. Extremely talented. So I'm really happy to have her work here.
All right, Nicole, thank you very much. And if you get a chance, get on out to Love Creamery. If you can't make it there, to get one of these their ice cream is absolutely delicious. My favorite is the chai.
Oh, awesome.
You can also find it at Whole Foods Co-op. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, we couldn't come to Love Creamery without saying where's the love. And with Valentine's Day coming up, you guys have a special that's going to be taking place.
Yeah, every Valentine's Day we do a special fun day where On Valentine's Day, we actually hand out handwritten Valentine cards to every person that purchases a cone. And in those cards are not only a fun little note, but we have prizes in about 1 in 10 of the cards. And then one of the cards actually has a $100 gift card to Love Creamery. So it's a great day to come out. We also, I forgot, have little ice cream cakes that are shaped of hearts. So those are fun too.
Well, wonderful. Yeah, be sure you swing on down for Valentine's Day. That sounds like a great time. Welcome back. I hope you had a great time at Love Creamery. I also hope you learned a lot. I really did. I was very excited to go and see the store down in Canal Park. That mural is absolutely gorgeous, and I want to say a huge thank you to Nicole Wild of Love Creamery for letting Co-opers Nation come out and do that piece. Thank you very much. But now back to the pizzas. These probably could have used a little bit more time, but that's all right. This pan might be a little bit warm depending on how warm your oven was. Now, where do you want to start? A lot of people on this one like to say, hey, start with the sauce. I really don't like to do that. It's not really too favorable for the crust. So what I like to do is start with what everyone wants, the cheese. Now, if you wanted to, you could get real fancy and do multiple kinds of cheese here. You could do Parmesan on the bottom. You could do mascarpone, be creamy. You could do really anything you wanted. Point of story is you can do multiple kinds of cheese. We're gonna do some on the bottom, we're gonna do some in the middle, we're gonna do some on the top. Again, everything's been sanitized. We're gonna throw some garlic in here. Could do some cheddar if you wanted to. That's what we're going to be doing later. Swiss. I mean, Wisconsin's right over the bridge. That cheese is up the wazoo, whatever you want. We're going to be turning over now to a couple slices of the pepperoni. We're not going to be doing all of it yet. Try to lay it out so it's a bit symmetrical. Go. We'll be coming back to that, don't you worry. Gonna need some onions in here. You gotta be careful though, because if you do overstuff your pizza, it can make it really soggy. Now this one is gonna turn out a little bit more like a pizza casserole because of the deep dish nature of it. Jump to some mushrooms. One more, okay. And you want to try to keep the flavor profile so they're going to mesh together. Some people like the, what do they call it, the garbage pizza or the everything pizza. Then it really doesn't matter. Put whatever you want down there. This is going to be kind of in that vein, but not quite. With the vegan pizza, we are going to shoot more of a direction. Got a little kick to it. Now the green pepper. And see if this was like your date's over, you can each kind of pick what you're going to make, or you could each make your own pizza, or you could make their pizza. So I'd make one for my date would make one for me, because that's how sweet of people we are. Do you want black olives? Do you want black olives? Oh, you do? Okay. Nice thing about the canned black olives, prepped and ready to go. No muss, no fuss. And that's how you want your Valentine's night to go. What else do you think it needs? A little bit of that basil. How about some of those tomatoes? It's pretty much everything, right? Okay, now let's get these tomatoes. More. Again, we know we're going to have leftovers, that's fine. Going to go to the sauce. Do you have to use all of it? No. Do you have to use any? No. It's your pizza. Do it however you want. I'm going to use all of it because I have a plan. That plan is to use all of it. Now you might even want more sauce in here. You might look at this and be like, it needs more sauce. Give it a minute. Top the rest off with the cheese we had. Now you're like, what about all that extra crust? What are we going to do with it? Well, we got to get the rest of the pepperoni on. Some people want the pepperoni on top. Some people want it under the top layer of cheese. I like when it curls up and makes those little greasy pepperoni bowls. You bite into them. It's my favorite. Are we going to achieve that? I don't know. That is the holy grail of pizza making, is to get the pepperoni cup of oil. We're now going to take our string cheese, and it's going to go around the edges like so. And as you can see, the crust is getting a little, you might want to say, crusty, because it was in the oven for a little bit and it was starting to dry out. You could have put a wet towel over it. We didn't do that, and that's okay. Because sometimes when you get a little bit more fancy and you get a little bit more wanting to stretch your range, you mess up something else. Let's get the basics down first. Like, hey, you should have had another piece of string cheese. That's a basic. Messed that one up. But what we'll do is we'll fold it under so it looks like there's string cheese in it, but there isn't. Get that nice and tucked. Okay. Now, let me grab the lid. That is going to set just like that, because we are now going to do the vegan pizza. And I don't think the vegan pizza had enough of a chance to rise up and get the height that we were hoping for, but it may have. That's the surprise. We're going to find out. It sure did. Nice little poof to it. Again, you're not going for like inches, you're going for a nice little poof. Now this one is a little bit of a different animal. So we're going to start with the sauce. Ooh, do I have a spoon? In the adventure to look for a spoon, my microphone cable tipped the camera over. So if I'm at a different angle, I apologize. I couldn't find a spoon that would work, but I found this really nice KitchenAid half-cup utensil. Cleaned, whole bit. Not using this to measure. What we're going to do is pour the sauce on, and we're going to use this to spread it. All that, I could have just probably used my fingers, right? Now on this one, you can go all the way out to the edges if you want. You can go up to the side of the pan. What you don't want to do is, remember those two breadsticks that we cut in here? Well, we don't want to cross that line. Don't do it. Okay. Looking good, right? We got that basil. Now, we're going to go to, what would you put on a cheeseburger? Well, I like onions on mine. So because this is a bacon cheeseburger vegan pizza, we're going to throw some onions on there. I don't really like green peppers on, so I'm going to skip that. But maybe there's a little garlic aioli on your pizza, or on your hamburger, I should say. So therefore, let's put it on the pizza. Also keeps the vampires away. Now what are we going to use for the burger is the Beyond Beef crumbles. They're plant-based. These thawed out a little bit, but they are not 100% thawed. Fine, they're going to be going in the oven. They're already cooked. That's the beautiful thing with working with vegan products. It's cooked already. It's not like if you put raw hamburger or raw pork on here and it doesn't cook thoroughly while the pizza's in the oven, you're gonna have someone getting sick. Not so much with this. Looking GUD, good. Gonna go to our bacon bits. Even nice sprinkle on here. Now you're going to notice we didn't put any salt in anything. That is correct. If you want to salt it afterwards, you go right ahead. But with all these different ingredients we're putting on there, it can get overly salted very quickly, especially with items like the one I have in my hand. That tends to have a lot of salt feel to it. Ta-da! And now some cheese. The Daya shreds. Now if you wanted, you could do cheese. I mean, you can do whatever you want on your breadsticks. They're your breadsticks. But if you wanted to do cheesy breadsticks, you could. Let's make this a super cheesy pizza. Look at. And the point I'm trying to make is there is no exact science to some of this stuff. Yeah, when you go to a pizza restaurant, they have it all measured out exactly because they're worried about profits and margins. You're worried about your date being happy. Maybe that girl, maybe that boy, maybe that person likes lots of cheese. Cheese it up. So, we're gonna leave that as it is. Looks like we have a little bit of sauce left. So we're gonna break from form, as I think a lot of cooking should be, and be like, hey, let's utilize that sauce. Why not? There we go. The next step is to get the oven preheated. We're going to preheat it to 450 degrees. We're going to let these sit right here while we clean everything up, and we'll get them in the oven. 450. Hard to see. It's really there. All right, it's time to put them in. The oven is up to temp, I hope. This is my first time cooking with this oven, so it says it's at 450. I want it to be at 450. I'm nervous and excited. A little bit nervous, a little bit excited. Not sure which is which, but we're gonna put them in. We're doing it. And we want this one on top. I like that in the center. Then I'm gonna reach over here and grab our gorgeous stuffed crust pizza. Put that in right there. I'm now gonna set a timer for 16 minutes. Set timer. "16 minutes. Start on its own. Start. Start. There it goes. We're gonna let that cook. If there's any excitement, we'll bring you back. If not, we'll see you when we pull them out. All right, the timer has gone off. We're gonna open it up and take a look. And it looks like the vegan pizza is done, but this one could use a little help. So I'm gonna set this down. And we're gonna move this to the top shelf. And see if that doesn't help it out. Again, haven't used this oven before. It's doing fine. You're doing good, buddy. Come on over here. Look how this looks great. How does it sound? Sounds good to me. Squishy over here. We're gonna let this sit for 3 to 5 minutes before we take it out of the pan. Hot stuff coming through. Pan is going to be very hot. You can let it sit and rest if you'd like. There are the breadsticks. They look wonderful. Now we're gonna set those over here and see how the pizza did. Now we did put a lot of toppings on it. Oh yeah, it looks nice and firm. Might be a little squishy in the middle still. We'll find out here in a second. How cute is this hot pad? Came right out. It looks like it might have a soft spot right there. Should be just fine. Now, because this is a square pizza, probably not going to cut triangles with it. Oh, it's thick. Yeah, once again, this is vegan. See that cheese? Looking good. Nice pizza. Crust could have probably used a little bit more time, but it did crisp up. So, and here it is, the vegan co-op made crust, co-op made sauce, bacon cheeseburger pizza with breadsticks. Not too shabby. I hope you really like that recipe. We are now gonna get the pan pizza out of the oven. You always wanna shut her down. Shut it down. Make sure it's off. Let's open it up and see how it looks. Ooh, boy, oh boy, I think that looks good. Bring it on over and set it down. Now, remember what I said? This is gonna be a little bit like a casserole. Look at that. This is stuffed crust pizza. See how it slides in there? Should we slide it out? Let's give it a second. That cast iron's hot. It's super hot. And also, if we cut it now like a lasagna, it's just gonna and go everywhere. We'd like to retain at least 4 slices. So we're gonna let this sit for a little bit and we'll come back and slice it up after it's had a moment to rest. All right, it's time to do it. Oh, it's hot, it's gooey. This might not be the right tool. It was the right tool. We need to set this someplace. Oh, heat resistant. Okay, it's still sizzling. There is nice stuff running out of it. Ooh. You ready? I'm nervous. Okay. Okay, whoever designed this countertop looks good, not functional. But I really like this cutting board. I believe it's an Epicurean. Not selling that or anything, but it's got the trough that goes around it. Ooh, it's gooey. It's so gooey. Let's see here. How about this piece? See, this should have probably set up a little longer, maybe. No, it's perfect. It is perfection, in my opinion. You eat that with a fork, and then you eat it again with your hands. Get this one out of the way. Look at the cheese ooze. It's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay. And there you have it. Chicago style deep dish pizza for Valentine's Day. How could you say no to that? It's messy. You're gonna be wiping cheese off each other's faces. It's got stuffed crust. Well, that is going to do it for us. I can't thank you enough for joining our very first class here at Whole Foods Co-op. This is a co-opers nation, and I'm glad you could join us.